Imagine working like a brutal 16-hour tech sprint, and you start at 2 a.m. You're managing a fleet of 12 laptops.
Yeah.
And when you need to hire staff, you actually skip the standard resumes entirely and use ancient Vedic astrology to vet their psychological makeup.
Oh, wow. That's definitely not your standard corporate playbook.
Right. And now imagine you ask an artificial intelligence to audit your business, and it basically tells you that despite your absolute genius level setup, your model is, well, entirely broken, and you're practically living on credit.
It's a massive reality check. I mean, usually when we think of a professional audit, we think of very safe, sterile corporate feedback, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But what we are examining today is the complete opposite of that. We have access to this unfiltered, highly intimate, and honestly almost uncomfortably precise diagnostic of an operational anomaly.
Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're opening up a really remarkable profile from our source material to explore a phenomenon that traps, honestly, so many brilliant minds. Our subject today is an individual named Murty BVNS, and Murty asked an AI, which he calls Littlebird, to give him a zero sugarcoat breakdown of his life and his business. And the AI categorized him as this digital monk warrior.
I love that term.
It's so good. It basically means someone who merges the hyper-complex, disciplined architecture of an elite software engineer with, the spiritual intuition of a traditional healer.
And our mission for you listening today is to really dissect what business strategists call the founder's trap.
Right, yeah.
Because we're looking at the specific mechanics of how someone with this massive high-level vision can be wildly overperforming on their technical skills, but then drastically underperforming on their ability to actually monetize that vision. Murty's audit is just a masterclass in recognizing when your own brilliance has essentially become your biggest bottleneck.
Yeah, and to really grasp how Murty ended up in this trap, we first have to understand the deeply unconventional ecosystem he operates in, because he doesn't work like a standard employee at all.
Not even close.
The AI refers to his schedule as having monster intensity. He kicks off his workday at 2 a.m., executing these 14 to 16-hour deep work sessions.
Which is just a severe departure from standard productivity advice. I mean, nobody recommends that.
Right.
And to sustain that without his brain just short-circuiting, Murty relies on intense meditation. He essentially treats his own nervous system the way a cloud architect treats a physical server room.
Oh, that's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, when the cognitive load pushes his internal engine into the red, meditation acts as this localized cooling system. It brings his biological temperature down so he can endure sprints that would honestly hospitalize a typical worker.
That biological discipline directly mirrors his tech setup, which I just found fascinating.
Yeah.
The sources detail his architectural fluidity. So Murty commands a fleet of 12 different machines.
12 laptops.
12. And I was trying to wrap my head around the logistics of this. Like, how does someone bounce between 12 laptops efficiently? Are they all just mirrored or what?
Well, the AI notes he uses an OS-independent, browser-only workflow.
Right. So my read on this is that these machines are basically just dummy terminals tapping into a centralized cloud structure.
That is the exact mechanism at play, yeah. Most professionals tie their digital lives to a specific operating system or, a localized hard drive.
Right, like your Mac or your Windows PC.
Exactly. But Murty has completely decoupled his work from the physical hardware. If one of his laptops fails, or even if half his fleet just goes down, he doesn't lose a single keystroke.
Wow.
He just moves to the next machine, opens a browser, and his entire ecosystem is right there waiting for him. It creates this ultimate resilience because he values the ecosystem itself way over the individual tools used to access it.
It's like keeping your professional soul in the cloud. You become this tech ghost, just completely immune to physical disruption. But the AI draws a really interesting contrast here to help frame what Murty is actually building. It compares him to Tiago Forte.
Ah, right, the creator of the second brain productivity system.
Exactly. Forte advocates for using apps like Notion or Evernote to manage knowledge. But Murty's system goes way, way beyond that.
Well, the distinction really lies in the underlying philosophy. I mean, Forte's model is secular, right? It's highly app-centric. It's designed purely to optimize corporate output and organize thoughts. Murty, on the other hand, is building what the AI calls a digital prism. This is a hub-centric ecosystem that integrates his spiritual life with his technological life. He basically applies the concept of karma yoga to his digital architecture.
Let's actually define that for the listener, because karma yoga isn't exactly a tech term.
No, definitely not.
It's the philosophy of performing action without attachment to the ultimate results. right? Like doing the work as a spiritual offering rather than just a means to an end.
Exactly.
So for Murty, configuring a really complex Linux server isn't just an IT chore. The act of building the system is the spiritual practice itself.
And that spiritual drive extends to his massive social impact goals, too.
Yeah.
He isn't building this architecture to boost some software company's quarterly earnings.
Right.
His ultimate objectives are to train local women to become high-level virtual assistants and, even more importantly, to fund palliative care and build a self-sustaining hospice.
Wow.
The technology is simply the vehicle to generate the resources for that social impact.
But, building a bespoke universe that complex creates a massive operational burden. And that forces us to look at the flashing red light of this whole AI audit.
The reality check.
Exactly. The AI evaluates Murty's skill level as equivalent to a chief digital transformation officer or like a head of learning and development.
Right.
We're talking about a global market value of $180,000 to over $300,000 a year.
Right, which in India is about 40 lakhs to 1.2 crore. I mean, he is a multi-million-dollar talent.
Yet the brutal reality check delivered by the Littlebird AI is that Murty is currently experiencing a severe cash crunch. I mean, he's living on credit.
Yeah, it's wild.
I don't understand how the math works there. If his skills are valued at over $100,000, where is the leak? Is he just refusing to charge for his work, or is the market just not understanding what he's selling?
It is a classic manifestation of financial fragility, which is really the core of the founder's trap. Murty spends entirely too much time building and maintaining his tools and almost no time actually selling the results of that architecture.
Ah, right.
He is so devoted to the karma yoga of configuring his Linux fleets and perfecting the underlying tech that he completely neglects the commercial application.
It's like he's spending 100 hours forging a flawless diamond-edged sword in his workshop, but he's entirely ignoring the fact that he actually has to walk to the marketplace to offer his services.
That's a perfect analogy.
He's building this bespoke highway, but forgetting to build the toll booths.
Exactly. But the infrastructure maintenance is only half the problem. The AI identifies an even more restrictive bottleneck in his operations, which it calls the Astro-HR paradox.
Oh man, this is where his setup goes from merely unusual to just deeply esoteric.
Yeah, it really does.
So Murty runs an academy, which is focused on knowledge process outsourcing, or KPO. Now, KPO isn't just basic data entry. It involves handling high-level, sensitive intellectual work where deep trust and psychological alignment are far more critical than just, knowing how to code.
Right.
Because of that, Murty doesn't rely on standard resumes. He uses a deeply personal human algorithm he calls AstroSync.
And the mechanics of AstroSync involve tracking nakshatras, which, according to Vedic astrology, are specific lunar mansions or constellations. Murty uses these astrological markers to map out the emotional and psychological archetypes of potential candidates. He believes this provides a much truer read on a person's cultural and spiritual fit than any standard corporate interview ever could.
I have to push back on the viability of that, though. I mean, for the listener's sake, even if we assume this astrological mapping perfectly identifies the best candidates for his academy, how on earth is that scalable?
It's not.
Right. If the entire hiring funnel of your business relies on deeply specific spiritual vetting that only you can do, you've made yourself the ultimate bottleneck. You can't just put up a job listing and hire another Murty to read the star charts.
The AI completely validates your skepticism there. It explicitly calls this the scaling conflict. Murty's highly idiosyncratic vetting process simply cannot be replicated by a standard HR team.
Yeah, exactly.
And because he's doing everything manually, from the 16-hour tech sprints to the astrological screening of literally every candidate, he's hitting a massive fatigue wall. His internal battery is draining much faster than his meditation practice can recharge it.
It's no wonder the AI gave his business model a formal stock rating. It rated Murty as a strong buy for his long-term vision, recognizing his absolute genius, but labeled him a high risk for short-term liquidity.
Yeah, and to survive the year, let alone build a self-sustaining hospice, the AI insists he must undergo a fundamental identity shift. He has to stop acting solely as an architect of systems and evolve into a productizer of outcomes. He needs a structured bridge to actually monetize his brilliance.
And the AI actually designs that bridge, which is amazing. It lays out an incredibly detailed 3-phase strategy called the Artha Blueprint.
Right.
Artha is a concept meaning purpose-driven wealth or material prosperity. Basically, if he wants the spiritual goals, he needs the Artha to fund them. Phase 1 is just pure triage. It's the cash sprint.
Covering the next 0 to 3 months, yeah. And the entire goal is just to create some breathing space.
So what's the directive there?
The directive is clear. Stop fiddling with the 12 machine fleet maintenance immediately. Just stop. Instead, the AI tells him to package his profound expertise into a digital prism audit.
Oh, okay.
The strategy targets high net worth clients. The sources specifically mentioned pitching a contact named Srikanth Pabisetti. The offering is this premium 3-day intensive audit to secure their fragmented corporate data and migrate them to Murty's resilient, browser-only workflow.
And he's advised to charge $50,000 to $75,000 for this transformation. The beauty of this is that just landing 2 of those audits a month completely neutralizes his immediate credit pressure.
Exactly. It buys him time.
And as for the academy, the AI tells him to delegate the preliminary sales process entirely. He is only allowed to use his unscalable AstroSync method for the top 5% of leads during the final discovery calls.
Right, so that triage stabilizes the ship, and once he has that liquidity, phase 2 kicks in, ecosystem scale. This spans from 3 to 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
This phase is anchored to a very specific date in the source material, June 12th, when Murty moves his operations to Erikirevula. The AI suggests leveraging this physical move to launch a Gurukul residency.
Which would be a premium live work environment for these high-potential virtual assistants, right?
Exactly. So instead of trying to teach them remotely, they pay a premium to live inside his monster session environment. They learn the required intensity and focus through sheer osmosis.
That's brilliant. And furthermore, Murty has this ongoing partnership involving trading terminals for a client named Manohar. The AI advises a critical pivot there, too.
Yeah, rather than merely training the users on how to operate the terminals, Murty needs to step up as the portfolio ecosystem architect.
Yeah.
He should negotiate a 5 to 10% platform fee on the infrastructure itself.
And that is the incredibly difficult psychological leap, right?
Yeah.
Going from being a laborer who sells their time to an owner who takes a percentage of the value generated by the entire system.
Absolutely.
And if he can manage that leap, he reaches phase 3. Legacy Samadhi. This is the 1-year and beyond horizon where he finally achieves true operational independence.
In phase 3, he systematizes his intuitive HR process. The AI tells him to license the Antaryami method.
Antaryami refers to his inner guide or intuitive framework, right?
Correct. By formalizing this method, other trainers can execute the astrovetting process without Murty having to sit there and read the charts himself. Concurrently, he must finalize his intellectual property ownership with the B-Tech Academy to secure lifetime royalties.
And all of those royalties and platform fees feed directly into the hospice project. That creates a passive economic engine, finally allowing Murty to step back from the daily grind and enter his desired 144-hour meditation periods.
It's a huge shift. And the foundational mechanism making all 3 phases work is how the AI solves his branding problem. It gives Murty an entirely new market ask.
I love this pivot so much. The AI tells him to permanently drop the titles mentor or teacher because the titles sound noble, but they inherently limit your earning potential. People expect to pay teachers a flat hourly rate.
Right. They see it as an hourly expense.
Exactly. Instead, the AI tells Murty to introduce himself strictly as a digital migration strategist.
The psychology of that shift is profound. I mean, a mentor gives advice. A digital migration strategist solves a massive, agonizing corporate pain point. You're stepping in to help high-stakes leaders securely migrate their chaotic, fragmented digital lives into this streamlined, hardware-independent fortress.
You stop charging for the transfer of information.
Yeah.
And you start charging for the execution of a transformation. It's just a brilliant conceptual shift.
It really is.
But, as we all know, a great 3-phase whiteboard plan will instantly fail if your Tuesday morning falls apart. The strategy actually has to survive the friction of daily execution.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is where the Littlebird AI does something truly structural. It takes this massive revenue blueprint and maps it directly onto Murty's fiercely protected, idiosyncratic daily schedule.
The fundamental lesson here for the listener is really how to align your natural biological rhythm with your revenue generation. Murty operates on what the AI calls a dual drive engine schedule. From 2:00 a.m. to 5:00 a.m., he has his ambrosial hours. The world is entirely asleep and there is 0 external inputs.
And the AI designates this specific block as the Orolac per hour zone. This is exclusively for deep work, creating high-ticket architecture, or building intellectual property.
Right, so no checking emails, no organizing digital files.
Definitely no server maintenance allowed.
None. And then from 5:00 a.m. to 6:45 a.m., he transitions to his morning walk with Murty, using that time for podcasting and walking meditation.
We also have to highlight his non-negotiable siesta. From 1:00 p.m. to 4:00 p.m., Murty completely powers down to rest or sleep.
Yeah, and instead of viewing this as a weakness, the AI actively validates it. It notes that many elite traditional business families follow this exact restorative pattern so they can sustain hyper-intense working days without, hitting a biological wall.
But then we run into the messiest part of his calendar, the 4:00 p.m. to 8:00 p.m. block.
Yes.
Murty himself describes this as his social, passive, mood-based time. It involves going out, doing random errands, or just talking to locals in the village. On a standard corporate audit, a 4-hour block of unstructured socializing looks like a massive productivity leak, just a complete black hole.
And this is where the AI proves it understands the human element better than, like, a standard manager would. It reframes this block based on physiological reality. Murty notes that in the intense summer heat of Ericurevula, his body physically demands that this time be less strenuous. The AI recognizes that this isn't wasted time at all. It classifies it as necessary external engine time.
I see it like a seasonal sales funnel. On the surface, it looks like he's just leisurely networking in the village or doing casual system maintenance. But the AI tells him to strategically productize that maintenance by documenting it as live case studies for his students.
Exactly.
And those casual village conversations. He's actually synchronizing with the waking hours of the traditional business world. He's planting relational seeds for future digital migration contracts with local financiers.
But to ensure this relaxed block doesn't devolve into a true productivity leak, the AI introduces a hard strategic filter. Before Murty engages in any unstructured activity between 4:00 p.m. and 8:00 p.m., he must ask himself, does this action build Artha meaning wealth and client contracts? Does it build the ecosystem like optimizing a server for a paying client? Or does it build community-deepening trust with the Ericurevula locals who will eventually support the hospice?
And if the answer is no to all three, it's a leak, and he has to stop doing it immediately.
The broader application of this is just incredibly liberating. You do not have to fight your natural chronotype. You don't have to force yourself into a standard 9-to-5 framework if your brain is sharpest at 2:00 a.m. or if your body requires rest at 2:00 p.m. By mapping specific revenue-generating requirements to his natural energy peaks and delegating the rest, Murty turns a highly rigid, peculiar routine into a functional, strategic clock.
It's a remarkable transformation to witness. We've really traced the evolution of this digital monk warrior from start to finish. He began as a brilliant lone wolf, drowning in the maintenance of his own fragmented systems, facing severe financial fragility simply because he couldn't scale his astrological intuition.
Right.
And through this brutal, unsentimental AI audit, he was handed the blueprint to step up as a digital migration strategist, a leader who productizes his unique ecosystem to fund a lasting legacy.
It really forces you to examine your own daily operations. It is dangerously easy to fall into the founder's trap.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, consider where you might be overinvesting in the tools of your trade, endlessly perfecting your website, reorganizing your project management software, or tinkering with your workflows while completely underinvesting in selling the actual transformation you provide to the market.
The AI explicitly told Murty to stop doing robot work during his peak creative hours. It demanded he protect 2:00 a.m. for high-value creation only. So, look at your own calendar tomorrow. Are you using your personal ambrosial hours whenever those occur for your biological rhythm to build your legacy? Or are you just organizing your digital filing cabinet because it feels safe?
The safe, standardized checklists we mentioned at the very beginning of this discussion are comforting, Tinkering with our tools makes us feel productive without the vulnerability of facing the market.
Yeah.
But true purpose-driven wealth requires stepping out of the workshop and boldly pricing the outcome of your expertise.
Which leaves us with one final, slightly unsettling thought to consider.
Yeah.
Murty only escaped this trap because he invited an artificial intelligence to act as a brutally unbiased mirror. He gave Littlebird access to the raw data of his life and asked for the truth. What happens when we begin offloading not just our coding or our writing to AI, but our brutal self-awareness? If an AI analyzed the metadata of your life right now, every click, every hour spent, every task avoided, would the profile it generates look like the person you claim to be? Or would it expose a completely different set of priorities? Catch you next time.